Happy Fragrant Friday, fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with take 2 of a new review. You know, I just filmed the entire episode, only to find out that yet again there was a glitch in photo booth, and the whole thing was lost. So 2 things I'll say: you're probably watching the last episode, for which I will be using photo booth. And then the second thing is, it just gives me an opportunity to keep on chatting about this wonderful fragrance and spend more time with you. You see, maybe I'm an optimist at heart in the end. I hope you are doing well. Happy Fragrant Friday to you, and I really hope you are doing well. And before I dive in this episode, let me just quickly say, since last Friday, yet again, my friends, I've gone viral. As I said earlier, I'm pretty sure it's because people think I look just like I am the doppelganger to Jeremy Fragrance. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to ask why. Charisma, who knows? Bottom line is, we've had an absolute avalanche. We are right behind PewDiePie when it comes to views, likes, and subscribers. Anyway, I really appreciate all of your support. I am Ben. I am here at That Cologne Guy, and I have new content for you every single Friday. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And turn on the notifications. I want you to hit and smash that notification bell, especially indeed if you watch me on your phone. So you've seen the title in the description, so you know I'm checking out none other than Osmanthe Kōdoshān. A little backstory to this episode is subscriber Heather reached out recently and recommended that I sample this fragrance because she and I crossed paths a while back when I originally reviewed Osmanthe Yunnan, and I'll put the card in your top right of the screen. So when I did that review, I stumbled upon her comment in Fragrantica, and she is Silk Selkie, Silkselkie on Fragrantica, and she just did it again actually with this one. She has an incredible ability for reviews. In fact, I actually think she should be like on the editorial board for Fragrantica. She's very gifted in her writing when it comes to offering her reviews on fragrances. So make sure that you check hers out for this fragrance that I'm reviewing today. And then of course the original one that I cited in my episode, I mentioned hers and gave her credit, of course, and that was for the Osmanthe Yunnan. So she stopped in and commented here in the channel, and then she recently came back into the fold and told me to check this one out as an alternative to Osmanthe Yunnan, because she knew I was very disgruntled with the performance of that one. I had to give that one a 3 out of 5 rating, which actually stings because I do like how it smells. But if you're going to ask me to shell out $286 minimum for a 100 milliliter and it lasts 2 to 4 hours, ain't going to happen, my friends. And so I need something with like an extreme version noir spare extreme version that's going to last beast mode, or I'm not buying. So she chimed in and let me know that this one has better performance. And told me, recommended that I check it out. So indeed, I went to Lucky Scent, and so of course you guys on my OnlyFans site have asked me, you begged me to show dabs instead of sprays, and indeed this episode will have faux dabs because we, my friends, are dry as a bone. I've really enjoyed wearing this fragrance this week. Another thing I want to say really quick too is really I think my perspective for this fragrance and my rating definitely will be on a woman's skin. I don't think this is quote unquote too feminine for me. I don't think so at all. It's not. But I would say I just feel like it would smell even better on a woman's skin. So something to consider as you're listening and watching this review. Okay, so let's start off with the house. This is my Maison Crivelli, and it's Crivelli. So I'm assuming his last name is Italian, but his first name is Thibaud. I don't know if the pronunciation is right. It's Thibaud. So I don't know if it's Thibaud or Thibault. I think it's silent, and that is, so he has an Italian background, I think, and he was born in Paris. So this is another house that has one founder, and he is French. He was born in Paris, but he moved to China and traveled all around Asia for 10 years. So from 2006 to around 16, 17, he was in China and then traveling around Asia while there. That's going to become relevant when we talk about the name of the fragrance. And then I also wanted to read something from their site that I think will help you when you explore these fragrances from this house. So they say, Thibault discovered plantations of raw materials used in perfumery, saw his senses continually stirred up, and steeped himself in his surroundings. This exploratory journey was marked by unexpected elements which have imbued him with an atypical and unusual knowledge of perfume at every level. Hashtag cringeworthy, a little bit. It's a little pretentious, perhaps, but I wanted to read that because it's the notion of traveling all over the world, especially in Asia, and smelling these quite different and exquisite fragrances, and that has influenced him in making them. So he also partners with perfumers, and this one is a 2021 release with the parfumée Stephanie, and it's either Bakouche, Bakouche. I don't know if there's an accent on the last E. So it's Bakouche. And this is the first time I am reviewing or experiencing one of her fragrances. So good news abounds so far. When it comes to the name, Osmanthe refers to Osmanthus, of course, which is a small petaled bush, principally in China and Japan. And if it looks like I'm looking at my notes, indeed I am. So to my right, I have my notes, and then I also have a few things that the website has said to my left. So in full disclosure, I'm relying on my notes. But I think this stuff is fun, right? So Osmanthus is what gives you the apricot, maybe even pear-like, but apricot smell to fragrances. In fact, I didn't even see apricot listed here, and I think that's because what you're really getting is in my estimation, an Osmanthus dominant, apricot dominant fragrance, at least in the initial blast. So that's half of the name. And then the Kōdoshān, which actually has the macrons above the first O and the A, meaning macrons is a line that goes over a vowel. And here's what I found with the name, Kōdoshān. I did not find it like that word that means anything, but I saw that Kodo refers, the first half, Kodo refers to a way of fragrance. And the definition goes on to say, it is the art of appreciating Japanese incense and involves using incense within a structure of codified conduct. So like some sort of, perhaps, I don't know, but some sort of religious ceremony, perhaps Zen, but that's what I get. It's the notion of experiencing fragrance and incense within a structure of codified conduct. So the Kodo part is very interesting, and then it gets even better because the Shan part that I found, I don't know if this is true, and I know that I have Japanese and Chinese speakers who watch the channel each week, so please, by all means, chime in and let us know if I'm missing anything, because it's quite possible that I am. I found that Shan means mountain in Chinese, and it actually is sun over in Japanese, and it is a suffix, meaning like it's attached on to the end of a noun to mean or refer to mountain. So like if I said something like Mount Rushmore, it would be like Rushmore Mountain, and the mountain part would be attached on the end, and that refers to, of course, a mountain. So san or shan is this notion of a mountain, and then kodo is the art of appreciating fragrance, and that is my extremely loose translation. And then they go on to say on their site, they say for this one, it is the experience of discovering osmanthus flowers on a tropical mountain shrouded in mist. So right off the bat, we're really looking at something quite interesting indeed. I like the notion of osmanthus, and of course the notion of mountain. Lots to say on the nomenclature indeed. When it comes to the actual notes itself, again, I would say apricot, but I'm assuming, of course, that's what I'm getting as the osmanthus. And we won't discuss, by the way, if it's apricot or apricot. We'll leave it at apricot. So That is the original initial blast, and I feel like that is maintained throughout the fragrance. I do feel like it's an apricot dominant fragrance. I wouldn't say that this is a clone, by the way, of Osmanthe Yunnan. I think it was maybe inspired by, but I would not call this a dupe or a clone of that one. And then after that, you get this kind of oolong black tea element that I really appreciate to it. And then I get kind of, you guys can help me out because it could be the patchouli. I think it is. You get kind of like a dusty leather, almost like an old book and an old library mixed with like a slight element of like, hashish or pot. So it's an earthy element. It's almost like it's a dusty old book with some earthy elements to it, okay? And I don't see leather listed, so I think that's the patchouli that I'm picking up. And really those are the three dominant. You can check on Fragrantica the other ones. I don't get star anise, by the way. I don't get any star anise that's listed. Those are the three dominant notes for me, and I actually find that they are quite prevalent through the initial blast all the way through to the base notes for the duration of the fragrance. So when it comes to projection, longevity, and sillage, good news because it does perform better than Osmanthe Yunnan. And so I got 4 to 6 hours on this one, but you have to understand that is without an atomizer. That is just dab. So some days I actually just dabbed, and then other days I use this as kind of a Harry Potter magic wand. And so Lucky Scent, by the way, for what they're charging, when you get it's not free. When you get a sample, they should definitely give you an atomizer. Come on, that's just my little grumpy comment for the day. So that is something to consider there. I got 4 to 6 hours on longevity, but I really feel like I would actually get better longevity if I had an atomizer, a full bottle, and that's also with high heat. And then, of course, again, just using dabs. So 4 to 6 hours is actually quite good for those of you that wear this fragrance. If you'd like to speak to the longevity, that would be helpful for all of us because I have a feeling that it is actually even better than the 6 hours I'm putting. So when it comes to projection and sillage, projection was quite good for about 2 to 4, about an arm's length away, and then it settles down close to the skin because especially without an atomizer, I'm not putting on my clothes. I would say moderate projection and moderate at best sillage coming in and out of rooms. Like the kind of scent trail you would leave. I don't know that you would get a lot of attention, but again, I want to put an asterisk next to that comment because of what I have. So if you guys can speak to that, if you have full bottles, please let us know, and that would mean a lot to me. When it comes to gender, you're looking at really, I think. Here's what I want to say. This fragrance, again, is not too feminine, as I mentioned earlier. A better way of saying it is, I would have this in my collection. I just think it works even better on a woman's skin. So I'm going to say a 66-34 split. I think 66%, about 2/3 of the people wearing this will be women. And 34, 1/3 split there will be men. And again, I would disagree with the notion of too feminine. I just think it would smell. I think it's an attractive scent and versatile one, and I just think it would be even better on a woman's skin. So I think you would see about a 2/3, 1/3 split when it comes to gender. And really, quite honestly, when it comes to age, I mean, really it's who can afford the price. And so I'm just going to say 25 and up. And if it sounds arbitrary, I guess it really kind of is, because this type of fragrance for me really doesn't have a certain generation, age. It doesn't evoke high school, middle school, old folks home, all these other categories we usually talk about. It doesn't. It's just a very pleasant smelling fragrance. I really like it. And I'm just going to say 25 and up would be those who can actually afford it. We'll talk really quick, then I'll just add it now. It's $286 for Osmanthe Yunnan on the Hermescence line, right, on Bloomingdale's. That's 100 milliliter, 3.4 ounce. And then the 3.4 ounce, 100 milliliter for this one is $260 on Lucky Scent. So you're looking about a $26 difference between Osmanthe Yunnan from 2005, Jean-Claude Elena, and then this one here. So it's slightly less expensive. and it has better performance. You just don't get the, you just have to be okay with the notion that it's kind of riding the coattails of the avant-garde release that is Osmanthe Yunnan. Some people care about those things, some people could care less, and I think it, indeed, I gave that one a 3 out of 5, and of course, you will find out in a minute if that beats that rating. Aha! Suspense indeed, here at TCG. When it comes to season, I guess if I had to, I would say spring. I would say it's a spring fragrance for me, but quite frankly, this is another one that is a year-round fragrance, because if you like how it smells, you could wear this anytime, anywhere, in my estimation. It's really hot out right now. I'm in the middle of summer, and to get 4 to 6 hours in a fragrance like this with just dabs is already quite good. I'm content with that, and I see this fragrance more as a year-round versatile fragrance if you like it, as opposed to specifically for a certain season. If you really want me to commit, though, I would say spring. So let's talk versatility. What I like about this one is, in terms of events, this is a perfect one. I could easily see this one being worn by a woman in an office where she is perhaps a little worried about or concerned about, maybe it's a fragrance neutral place, right, where she doesn't want to wear too much fragrance and project too much. It's maybe a more professional setting, or maybe the company has suggested, to avoid fragrance, something like that. This would be great, because I think if I had to use one word for this fragrance, it would be classy. I think this is a classy fragrance, and I like the fact that it is professional, classy, yet it has just a nice touch of femininity and sexiness, quite frankly. And so that's what I mean is I think it would work okay, because it is subtle, relatively subtle, for daytime, even at work. And then, of course, I think it would also be perfect for the things like weddings outside in the spring and summer, nighttime, a first date. I think it's just a really nice fragrance, and it's not one that's too explosive, too beast mode, but it's also not something that dries up and it's long gone within 1 to 2 hours. And so this is really going to be a popular fragrance, I think, for a lot of people because of the versatility. Okay, so for this fragrance, I am going with a rock solid 4 out of 5 sprays. For Osmanthe Yunnan, I went with 3 out of 5 because I was disappointed with the performance. This one also smells quite like, and I like the fact that it's inspired by that fragrance, but I would not call this a dupe or a clone or a copy. I do feel like it has its own personality. In fact, I would just say if you like Osmanthus-based fragrances, I do not think that this would be a superfluous purchase. I actually think that you could have both in your collection and enjoy them. This is not a copy. It does perform better though, and for that reason, because I do like them both as far as the smell, but for that reason, I'm going to give this again a rock solid 4 out of 5 sprays for this week's fragrance. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to go 1 on each wrist and 1 on each side of the neck. Of course, these are as faux dabs as faux can be, because I am bone dry. Boom, 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 and boom. All right, 4 out of 5 sprays for Osmanthe Kōdoshān by Maison Crivelli, or Crivelli. I enjoyed talking about the house. I enjoyed talking about the nomenclature, reviewing this fragrance, and of course talking about a fragrance recommended by subscriber Heather. Interesting to note that not only is she talented, wildly talented when it comes to leaving reviews on Fragrantica, but indeed she's also, an interesting little known fact here, she's also the happiest person to catch a foul ball at an Oakland A's baseball game. You guys take care. If you don't have too much to say about the fragrance, always remember, let me know your scent of the day. I really appreciate that, as you know. But please chime in. Let me know if you have anything to say about this fragrance, especially compared to my review. If you feel like certain categories, they did better for you or worse, or if you got different notes than I did. You guys have a great week. Take care. And always remember, my friends, Fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. Welcome to the bonus feature. Let me just quickly say that as far as the category on their website, they note that this is a Chypre, and then Fragrantica simply says a floral fragrance. So to my knowledge, I think it's a Chypre, but you guys can help me or correct the record if that's not the case. The other thing I wanted to say too, this is an EDP, by the way. I should have mentioned that in the review. This is an eau de parfum. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week.